At Blackvale Academy, the students were model children. Uniforms crisp, smiles polite, answers perfect. Miss Park, the new literature teacher, felt something was off. Their essays lacked emotion. Their eyes tracked her too precisely. Until one paper stood out. It read only, "Help me." She traced it to a student named Oliver Ursulant, thin, always the last to leave. His file had barely any information. No medical history, no disciplinary records. Just a contact name. Headmaster Thorne. Miss Park thought it strange that the same headmaster who oversaw dozens of students was listed as guardian for one. So she checked another student's file, then another. Every student listed Thorne as their legal caretaker or emergency contact. Digging further, she found an old newspaper clipping in the public archives. A photo of a boy missing for over 20 years. His name was Oliver Dunn. He had vanished without a trace. But the boy in the photo, he looked exactly like her student. Not similar, identical. Disturbed, she cross-referenced the names of every student in her classroom with national missing persons reports. Every single one. Each child in her classroom matched a child reported missing within the past 25 years. Same names, same faces, unaged. She tried to alert the authorities, but her calls never went through. The emails bounced. Cameras she brought to document the students malfunctioned. She returned to the school late one night and watched through the office window as Headmaster Thorne led a ritual in the auditorium, each student standing still, eyes closed, silent, awaiting instructions. Their skin shimmered faintly under the stage lights, like something beneath it was adjusting. They weren't children. They were humanoid shells, puppeteered by something else, refined mimicry designed to replace the human population slowly, convincingly. A soft voice behind her said, "You were never meant to see this." She turned. Oliver stood there smiling. "But maybe you can help us understand love better." Now, there's a new literature teacher at Blackvale. She smiles more now. Her eyes no longer question, and she never assigns essays. And every so often, she tilts her head just a fraction too far. Tommy was the new kid at Westbrook Elementary. He was quiet, polite, and always kept to himself. He carried a book everywhere he went. During free time, while others played or chatted, Tommy would sit alone and draw. At first, the drawing seemed ordinary trees, cars, classmates. Then came the fire. The day before the town's fire station burned down, Tommy had drawn it in startling detail right down to the smoke plumes and the shattered signpost. His teacher, Miss Green, chalked it up to coincidence. Until it happened again. He drew the school librarian with a broken leg. 2 days later, she fell down the stairs and was taken out on a stretcher. Miss Green began flipping through his sketchbook every day. One morning, she found a fresh drawing. The school bus veering off a mountain road, children screaming through shattered windows. The class trip was that afternoon. Miss Green, pale and trembling, canceled it without explanation. Parents were upset. Children groaned. Shaken, Miss Green flipped to the next page of Tommy's sketchbook. It showed her classroom. The children were seated, still and lifeless. Desks overturned, blood dripping from the whiteboard. She decided to evacuate the building. The fire alarm triggered a full lockdown instead. The doors sealed. Tommy stood calmly by the window, sketching. "You can't stop it," he said. "It has to happen, one way or another." As Miss Green tried to pry the classroom door open, she saw the next drawing fall from the book. It showed her face down on the floor, eyes wide in horror. She never saw the ceiling tiles above her shift. And by the time the school reopened a week later, no one ever spoke of what happened in that classroom. Mina was obsessed with dolls. Her room was filled with theme on shelves, in the closet, even hanging from strings in intricate poses. Her parents swore they didn't buy most of them. They just appeared. At first, they looked like generic dolls. Then one arrived wearing the exact same hoodie as the girl next door. A week later, that girl went missing. Then came the doll with the identical hair and freckles as Mina's teacher, who stopped showing up for class. Her father confronted her. "Where are these dolls coming from?" Mina just smiled and said, "They come when they're ready." Disturbed, he tried to throw them away. He gathered boxes of them and took them to the incinerator at work. That night, a new doll appeared on Mina's shelf. It wore her father's glasses, his tie. The birthmark on its cheek was unmistakable. Her mother screamed, "Why does it look like him? That's your father!" Mina turned slowly. Her voice was calm, almost sad. He found out the secret, and he didn't accept them. "You have to love them, Mom. They don't like being rejected." Mina cradled the doll that looked like her father. "Now you know too. Tell them you love them." That night, the mother told them. Every last one. She walked from shelf to shelf, whispering, "I love you. You're beautiful." Weeks passed. Then one morning, Mina and the dolls were gone. The room was empty. Not even dust left behind. The police found nothing. No footprints, no clues. Just one porcelain hand beneath the bed. Months later, the mother moved away. Her new neighbor had a daughter. One day, the mother saw her playing on the porch with a doll long brown hair, tiny gold necklace, familiar green eyes. "That's a lovely doll," she said. The neighbor smiled nervously. "She collects them. We don't know where she gets them. We swear we haven't bought any." The mother couldn't speak. The doll turned slightly in the girl's arms and smiled. Jonah was a foster child for most of his early life. Quiet, polite, and well-mannered, he was the kind of boy who never raised his voice or caused trouble. When the Moores adopted him, everything seemed perfect. He adjusted quickly, called them Mom and Dad, got good grades, helped with chores. But something changed on his 13th birthday. The night after his party, balloons still half floating and wrapping paper still on the floor, the house burned to the ground. Firefighters arrived too late. The blaze had consumed everything, but among the ashes, they found Jonah, curled up, sleeping, untouched by flame. The fire chief said it was a miracle. The cause was listed as an electrical fault. He was placed in another home, and then another. Each time, it started the same way. Everything seemed fine. Jonah adjusted well. Families loved him. Then, weeks or months later, another fire. Always while Jonah slept. Always leaving him alone in the ashes. He began to suspect the truth. He didn't cause the fires. He didn't want to. But something inside him fed off them. And when he slept, it released. He tried to stay awake. Energy drinks, rubber bands around his wrists, cold showers. But sleep always came, and the fires followed. When the fifth family died, Jonah was committed to a youth psychiatric center. They said it was for his own good. He tried to explain. He warned them not to let him sleep. One night during dinner, a guard sneered at him. "You're a pyromaniac, kid. Tell the truth. Better come up with a story you can actually believe." Then, mockingly, the guard took Jonah's untouched tray and flicked a lighter in front of him. "You don't need food, right? You feed on fire, remember?" That night, Jonah's meds kicked in. He drifted off, fists clenched, whispering, "No, please not again." The blaze engulfed the building by 3 a.m. Everyone inside died. Staff, patients, guards, except Jonah. He ran before the fire trucks arrived. Disappeared. Now, some say if you hear a boy's voice whispering in his sleep, run. Because Jonah's dreaming.